Okay, it's confession time. For a long time, my money story was be afraid you're going to lose it all. And this is not, general be careful with money. I was actually full on afraid to leave it, to get it, to lose it, not leave it. And honestly, I've done this work, but in a weak moment, I still sometimes am feeling this shadow, right? It's just something you can do all the work, but sometimes it's still there, and then you can notice it, and that's it. Here's the plot twist: that fear was not mine to begin with. It got passed straight down my mother's line and is actually handed to me before I was even old enough to question it. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Wealth Trifecta series on the Shadow Business Podcast. Last week, we spoke about creating wealth, the offers, the pricing, the whole engine. And today, we're talking about the part that actually decides whether any of that wealth creation is actually sticking. I see so many people making a lot of money, and then I know in 10 years they will be broke AF because they're not doing this work. And we are going to face it today in this Shadow Business Podcast. So grab your tea. This one is a little tender, and we're going to have a lot of fun. All right. So when I finally sat down and studied exactly what happened in my family, so my personal shadow here is that I always had this vague and foggy idea of what happened, but it's actually the actual version of the money story that something shifted in me. And I could finally separate what really happened from the story that got passed down to me and separate it from the story that I want to create. And those are two very different things. And actually, almost no one separates them. So many people are just on automatic pilots. They're sleepwalking through life and they're just thinking, no, this is who I am. No, it's not just who you are. Sorry that I'm saying it with that voice, but I don't want to hear that anymore because you have a choice. You always have a choice. And okay, maybe there are exceptions, absolutely, but most people have a choice. Let me always make this little nuance here, but it is true. I did not. So, and this was interesting because I noticed this pattern quite early in my money journey when I was getting very active in money, wealth creation, everything. I started doing this when I was in 21, not when I was 21, but in 2021. And I started my journey with manifestation. And I really tried that at first, deep into manifesting for a good while. Loved everything about it. Was very invested in working with Gabby Bernstein, Deepak Chopra, all those people, bought all the books, was in all the programs, etc. And I do think that manifesting works to an extent. How you believe that something can change, how it will change how you show up. 100%. If you think that everything, I have some friends who really think that nothing is going to help work out for them. Yes, of course, it's not going to work for you. I mean, yes, you are kind of reverse manifesting that is not going to work for you. So yeah, also manifesting that is not going to work. Maybe that's also a manifesting technique. Anyway, manifesting brushes over the problem. It doesn't go into it. And shadow work goes into it. And this is where it really made my change. There's a reason why I speak about shadow work, why I have the Shadow Business Podcast, because I know it works. And I'm someone who, if you don't know me personally, but if you know me personally, if it doesn't work, I'm gone. Okay. This is the difference between the manifesting and the shadow work. And I wanted to mention this. And it's also the entire premise of today. So here's what I see that people are avoiding every single time when they are facing their wealth shadows, or when they're building wealth, actually. Let's just say it like that. Okay. So nobody actually analyzes their own money behavior. So how do you analyze this? What do you do the second that you have money? What do you do the moment that you have no money? What happens in your body when it is time to invest instead of to spend it? And so most people here have never once observed themselves here. They just live it on repeat, reactively, not really thinking. And then some people will get the insight, and those are the people I work with. They will say, okay, you know what? I don't want this anymore. And most people don't. They just think, no, it's just who I am. But once again, you're not just who you are. So what does your money behavior look like? Then the second one is everyone has a wealth shadow. And almost nobody can name it exactly. And so I see, when working with people, I see four wealth shadows. We can also bring it down to 3, but it's actually 4. I see it constantly with my clients. There is one. This is the over adaptable one. So when money is tight, you will just spend less, sell your house, sell your kids, your car, whatever, doesn't matter. You'll do with less. This is me, by the way. This is my shadow. I for a long time, and it's going away. I'm not saying it's gone, but it's going away. Then there's number 2 is the never satisfied one. This is someone who has not defined their wealth number and thinks they need to make more all the time. That's not what you want as well. Then there is the not for me one. This is someone who believes that wealth is not for them. And then there is the inherited story one. So this is living someone else's fear and never having questioned if it's even true or if it's really relatable to their current situation. If we're just looking at society in general, it is actually impossible to have the same money thoughts and beliefs as your parents just because the world has changed. And it will change every generation. So also your kids, hopefully, I hope people teach this to their kids as well. But your kids will also need to have a different money set of behavior. Why? Because probably when you have children, small children right now, their life will be unbelievable. Their grown-up life will be, we will not be able to comprehend, we are actually not able to comprehend right now what their life will look like. And as things are going right now, AI will have a massive impact on their lives, just like the internet did to Gen X, millennial, and also to shorter extent Gen Z. But we don't know yet. And so it's very strange if you're putting so for instance, one thing that boomer parents have inflicted on the millennial kids is that having a job is the safest bet you can make in life. And for the past 10 years, 20 years, I think, millennials are on the market for 20 years, something like that, job market for 20 years. We have not lived without any crisis, ever, millennials. So it is safe to say that those ideas that those baby boomers had are out of date. My mother, God rest her soul, she hated it that I was a business owner. And because she thought it was very risky. And then I told her what I made. And then she said, "Oh, how is this possible?" Yeah, it's possible because I like doing this. But she did not believe that it was possible, maybe in general, but also specifically for me. I'm not sure. I never got the chance to ask her that. But she was really of the idea of, having a job is safe, having a business is unsafe. And I think maybe this is also one of the reasons why it took me until 2018 before I wanted to have my business full time. This could have been a subconscious idea. I'm not sure. I'm also not very interested in that, but it could be. All right. So what is your shadow? The over adaptable one, the never satisfied one, the not for me one, or the inherited story one. And you can be one, but you can also be a blend of 2, right? The mistake, what people are avoiding every single time when they're doing this work, wealth building, is you have not asked yourself how you actually relate to money. And this is not about what you think of money intellectually. Maybe you're saying to yourself, the stock market is bad, or it's bad that some people profit off of companies and some people don't, and there should be more financial education. Okay, yes, sure, you can think all those things intellectually, but I want you to look at how you physically and energetically relate to it. Where is the block? And also, where is the lever that would actually move something for you? Number 4 is, this is the thing that people avoid, you're using excuses that sound like values in your business. So for instance, I need to hit, 100K or 100 clients before I can raise my prices. Or I'll charge for extras once I'm more established. I actually just had this conversation yesterday with one of my clients. I just want to stay affordable. Yeah, you're not affordable for a large part of the world, so why would you hurt yourself? These sound like values, but half the time it is a wealth shadow wearing a values costume and thinking that you're actually helping yourself. I'm saying this with love, but you're not. And the thing that most people avoid, number 5, is you've never had a real conversations about money, with your partner, or for instance, with your parents. This one is very uncomfortable on purpose, because if you have kids or a partner and you've never talked openly about how you actually think about wealth, you're compounding a pattern forward the exact way that it got compounded onto you. But also, when you have a conversation with your partner and you're not having a conversation about wealth, how are you ever going to build this if you're sharing your finances together? Same thing with your parents. When I had my money conversation with my mother, I really enjoyed it because I actually got to learn a lot about her and her personality also. So it was not just obviously a money conversation. Okay, you can have the best offer. You can have the best pricing. You can have the best structure from episode 1, and it is still sabotaging the whole thing if you are if you skip this part, the facing of the shadows. And I've seen this happen over and over again. And I've had actually people leave my coaching because they thought the shadows were not valid. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, the shadows don't lie. And as long as you walk away from your shadow, which obviously is impossible, except for Peter Pan, who lost his shadow. But for the rest of the people, you always will have your shadow as long as there's light on you. And so when you're not going to stay in the dark all the time, you're not going to do that. You cannot walk away from it. So I know that, for instance, there's, when people find the work confronting, then I know that there will be a moment in their lives where they will catch up. And it's okay. It was not the right moment then. Perfect. I look at that with compassion. So the strategy often is not the problem. It is often the identity underneath. Okay. So inside my new program, the Wealth Trifecta, this is the whole middle pillar or the other corner of the triangle. And this is where we're naming your money story. We're identifying your shadow. And we're actually doing the repatterning work and the hypnosis and table constellation work and everything, so that the new identity actually installs instead of just sounding very good, for instance, on this podcast or in a conversation with friends. In the next episode, we're going to bring it all together next week, what to actually do with money once creation and identity are aligned. That's going to be the compounding. See you there. Thank you for listening and hope to see you in next week's episode. Don't forget to give me 5 stars on Spotify and see you soon. Bye.